So when I started to stumble on this topic, it made me think personally, what am I doing that is keeping me from God? If I'm supposed to deny myself, what makes me me? I started to think all the things I do and the plans that I had and the things that I really didn't need. And it really, like, when you start thinking, what stuff do I do that doesn't really do anything for my relationship with God? It's kind of knocks out a lot of stuff in your life. And this brings me to there is a price. Luke 14:25-33. There is a price to being a disciple. That's what the title was for this price to being a disciple.
Large crowds were traveling with Jesus, and turning to them, he said, "If anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother, his wife and children, his brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. And anyone who does not carry his cross and follow me cannot be my disciple. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Will he not first sit down and estimate the cost to see if he has enough money to complete it? For if he lays the foundation and is not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule him, saying, 'This fellow began to build and was not able to finish.' Or suppose a king is about to go on to war against another king. Will he not first sit down and consider whether he is able with 10,000 men to oppose the one coming against him with 20,000? If he is not able, he will send a delegation, while the other is still a long way off, and will ask for terms of peace. In the same way, any of you who does not give up everything he has cannot be my disciple."
I think this is considered one of the hardest, one of the most controversial. This is like one of the verses people are like, why would you be a Christian when you have to hate your parents? Or stuff like that, you know what I mean? So Jesus tells them that, which I'm sure at the time was just ridiculous to hear this. Just like if I came up to one of you guys and, hey, you have to hate your father and mother in order to be a Christian. It probably, especially if you're not a Christian, like right now you're a Christian, but if you weren't, I don't think you would that turn you on to being a Christian? No, I don't think it would me either. But let's consider that I don't think Jesus doesn't literally mean hate. He doesn't mean, what?
Well, there's 6 words that mean love, and this one that they use means love less.
Right, yeah. That's what I was going to say. I don't think the word means literally hate as we see it today. I'm sure at the time hate meant something different. Like he said, there's different meanings in different translations, they say different things. So Jesus wasn't literally telling them, if you don't go to your parents and hate them, like smack them and stuff. What's up?
I just wanted to I didn't know if you was going to cover it, so I was just letting you know that I have something. If you don't cover it, I'll make mention of what that means.
All right. And then after Jesus says this, he kind of goes into detail. He says, let me see if I can describe this. I think I see this in 28 through 33 is kind of just before you start getting into this whole Christian thing, you might want to start thinking about it before you just say, I'm going to be a Christian, and then without really thinking about it. That's why he was talking about build a tower where you're not going to sit down and see what you have and stuff like that. So Luke, that was Luke 14:25-33. Jesus is telling the large crowd that being a Christian, there's a price at being this. Did I cover? Do you want to say something?
Yeah, that word hate is basically Jesus saying, if you love your parents more than me, and that's all it is. It's a degree of who is more important to you in light of Christ, who is more important to you in light of God. If you don't love your mother, father, sister, brother less than me, then that's what he's talking about. You know, it's not like I hate you because, he don't want you to hate them, but he's just saying there is a variance of love there. We need to love God more than we love ourselves, our life, so.
Thank you. So So on to Revelations 3:15 through 20. So you take it?
Yeah. Revelations 3:15-20.
15 through 20.
Yeah. Alright. I know your deeds, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were either one or the other. So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I'm about to spit you out of my mouth. You say I am rich, I have acquired wealth, and do not need a thing. But you don't realize that you are wretched, pitiful, forlorn in nature. I counsel you to buy from me gold refined in the fire, so you can become rich, and white clothes to wear, so you can cover your shameful nakedness, and salve to put on your eyes, so you can see. Those whom I love, I rebuke and discipline, so be earnest and repent. Here I am, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with the person, if they with me.
So in these verses, we covered them earlier, and I'm sure you've heard them a million times, especially if you talk to me about stuff like this, because I use it all the time. This is basically where Jesus is like, look, you can either, I'd rather you be a Christian, and by that Christian, what means little Christ, Christ-like. It's not real. I don't really see it as I know that it's easy to say it's a relationship, not a religion, but it really is not a religion. Because people can say, I'm a Christian, and to them that would just mean maybe I go to church and I go to Lent or whatever the heck that is. But that's if all they're doing is doing that kind of stuff, are they really Christ-like? Christ, what did Christ do? To be Christ-like, you have to do what Christ did. So Jesus is saying, or not Jesus, God, saying that if you're going to be lukewarm, in the middle of, on the fence of being a Christian and not, then I'm going to spit you out of my mouth. And I don't know what that looks like, but it's probably pretty gross. And he says he wants to counsel you to buy from me gold refined in fire, so you can become rich in white clothes to wear. And it's just, I don't know, it's just, God is saying so much to just, so many times in the Bible he says, follow me, drop what you're doing, follow me. It's not just these verses, there's more verses than this. And I think the main reason, I don't like calling people out. I don't like doing that. I don't mean to do it to make you feel terrible. I don't do it for fun. I don't even really mean to call you out. I usually just say stuff. But what's weird about all that is when I say stuff, it's not really my words. It's out of the Bible. And it's easy for us to say, Sam, you're just being hypocritical. I know what you do. I know you go see bad movies, and I know that you play video games and stuff like that. But I would urge you to you can say that. You can say that. You can say that. But also, don't forget what the Bible says. Because if you say, Sam, you're wrong and you're a hypocrite, then you're basically saying God's wrong too, because He's the one saying it. I'm just repeating what God says. God is, and then these verses, God is crying out, here I am. I'm knocking on your door. If you hear my voice, open it. Okay. Next verse is Romans 12:2.
And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
All right, so this brings me back to the movie clip. At one point, Morpheus says to Neo that where he lives is a prison for your mind. He says the Matrix is a prison for your mind, and it's so true for us, so true. The world we live in is full of things that distract us and keep us locked away from the truth that God has given us. And back to 1 John, I think we've done 1 John 2:17. No, yeah, we have. It says, we don't have to read it, but I'm going to read it. If the man who does the will of God lives forever. So in Romans 12:2, when it says, do not conform but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And then after you do that, you'll be able to know what God's will is. So let's go back to 1 John 2:17. If the man who does the will of God, the man who does the will of God lives forever. So here I have a verse telling you how to get the will of God, and it's telling you when you have that, you live forever. So 12:2 in Romans 12:2 is telling us how to achieve God's will. We must no longer, and this goes back to denying ourselves. All this, I hope you guys are catching that this is all connected. He's telling us again to deny yourself. Don't conform to the pattern of the world. Don't do the stuff that people, non-Christians do. Don't do the stuff that the world says, it's okay to do that. But be transformed. Be different. Transformed is totally just twist around, change. Renew. Renew means restore to freshness, to make extensive changes to begin again, restore to perfection, or to make new spiritually. So renew. That's renew. So the matter of the fact is, we need to get over our abandonment issues. And the problem is that we hold so dear to things that are of this world and just the stuff that we love. And I know that it's hard. And Jesus even said that it's not easy. It's going to take you. It's going to take you time. It's going to take work. You have to work at it. So, Luke, if you can go. So I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say. This is my second time really preaching, so it's hard for me to know exactly how to do all this. But the point that I wanted to get across is that to be disciples, to be Talmudim, we can't just do what we want to do and then also be a Christian. We can't go do every single thing that we find fun, especially if God doesn't find it appealing. Sometimes it may not even be about not being godly. It may just be about stuff that you like, that you could be doing something else for God. He says I know I've said it so many times, to deny yourself. Deny. Turn away. Change. Deny. You guys got that? To deny yourself. And then pick up your cross. Pick up your cross. And I'm just going to, I think that's pretty much all I have for you guys.